Hey guys, this is Typebone Skyberg or Typebone82. Right now, we're going to talk about my movie review. Was after I did to the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie, and the rest of them I watched. The Power Rangers seasons was the Mighty Morphin, Alien Rangers, and of course Zeo. So now before they start Power Rangers Turbo, so now let's start it with, in the beginning was the sequel of Power Rangers movie. So now was after I done a Mighty Morphin the movie review. So now let's start it with Turbo, a Power Rangers movie. Wow, that Turbo Rangers, it was fantastic movie. So I think it's this very, very good movie. So it was very close like the ones that I saw in the Mighty Morphin the movie. So now Turbo, it was a very good movie. Now, if you saw this or not, which reminds me on it, I already did a reviewing of these guys right here. This is a VHS and of course the DVD version. Look at this cover. It looks fantastic. It was very good. And of course you got it behind them. And of course you got it right there. So if you hadn't seen it in my review here, believe it or not, go see it. You're not going to disappoint. So go see it, this one, because look at this cover here before I started. This cover looks very good, and here in the DVD, it was different ones, but the rest of them, the entirely, it was very, very good. Believe it or not, go see it. You're not going to disappoint. Same thing I did in reviewing the Mighty Morphin, the movie. So now, it was very good. Go see it. You're not going to disappoint. So, alright, now, let's start it with Turbo, Power Rangers the movie. It was a very good movie. It was an amazing film, and it was a very good. The entirely was a very good. It has not the computer graphics and all that. It was own model makers, the costumes, and of course you got a lot of these things. It was a very good. It was a great story. You have a lot of there. It was a very tense. Now, it was I cannot say, I lost the words, you guys. So, let's start it with about my Turbo Power Rangers, the movie, my movie review, my thoughts about how to explain it. So, let's find out, guys. It was released by 1997. It was a big deal when it came out. The directors was Shuki Levy and David Winning. Now, the writers was the same direction was Shuki Levy. Now, you gotta narrate this. It's because it's been in almost 20 years in a sense that in the beginning. Now, was after the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie, and it was after Power Rangers Zeo. This TV show Zeo was awesome, but now the Mighty Morphin, the movie, it's another story. Before it was this one right now. This now Turbo, a Power Rangers movie, is almost 20 years. Well, 18 years technically is this basic of this movie. So it's the beginning of the Turbos movies or Turbo Rangers. So it's basically, I think the Turbo Rangers is starting in the beginning was after the Zeo Rangers was done. So the Machine Empire was defeated, and now there's a new threat in the villain, T-Botox, the Galactic Pirates, is basically, it's another story. But now the Rangers didn't realize that. Zonon and the Alpha 5 are trying to warning the Descendant. There's the new wizard is on his way named Larigo. Larigo is a creature and an alien from another side of the planet. Now Larigo is turning to the Descendant, of course, to Earth. Now this basically is trying to find a Larigo before Divatox has on the wrong hands. Now, I think this movie is trying to use Divatox wants the Larigo, is trying to use it with the Larigo's powers with this magic one. I had no idea what this is. Now I know what this is in a sense, and I saw that and I was 15 years old. But I never saw it in the theaters, but lucky enough, I just got a VHS and a DVD. So now, let's start it with a Turbo Power Rangers movie. Now, before I begin in the story and my final thoughts about this film and I rate it. So, I'm going to give you some thoughts on how it basically was and what this all about. Did I mention it before? That Larigo was in danger they don't let it use in Diva Talks on his own hands. They're trying to use, because Diva Talks wants to use what is some kind of the bride. They call it Marigore. Marigore is the most powerful villain. It should be the master. Was Obey Diva Talks, or is some kind of the missing on the wrong hands for sure. But I'll tell you that later on and after that it's about Marigore's character. It's the same thing, reminds me of that. I'll tell you that later on after. Now the cast was amazing. That the ones that I know that. The Rangers that they are the same, and some a little bit replaced, and there's was introducing himself. So let's start it with Steve Cardenas as Rocky. Unfortunately, the character Rocky wasn't injured because was after the tournament fighter, like a kickboxer or something like that, like a karate tournament. But I think this is about the ones there's a tournament, but not only that, there's Tommy and Adam. They having a competition. Then between those things and like that, what's going on here? Now there's an actor that was there. For example, Rocky was Steve Cardenas. Tommy Oliver was Jason David Frank. Anna Park was Johnny Young Budge. And of course, you got the lovely ladies. You got Catherine Hillen was Catherine Sutherland. Tanya Sloan, placed by Nagia Burris. And of course, least but not least, Justin Stewart, placed by Blank Foster. Now, these Rangers, the same colors that I know, but Justin Stewart would place a Rocky. Of course, and then they has now Justin, he was only about 11 or 12 years old at the time when I saw that in that movie, and he was his first of the Blue Ranger basically. So now Rocky couldn't make it because but he's got in a hospital injured, sadly. So now, but he's trying it too hard basically. But I feel bad for him. It was told later in the end of the film. He recovers, thankfully. Now the villains on the other hand, Diva Talks, placed by Hilary Sherbert. Hilary Diva Talks. Oh my God, what can I say? She was kind of like the villain was, she was too pretty, but she's too the main villain. Hillary, she was too very good at the villain, but it's not the same. Reminds me of Rita Repulsa, but it's not. But it's a different one. Now she's in the Galactic Empire with these villains: Elgar, Rygod, and of course, what is the name of the other ones? Was Piranatrons. The Piranatrons and designs, it's a different one about the face, and they might put in the makeup on it. Later on in the season was after the start of the new season, Turbo, but it's in the different one, it's Helmet. That's pretty cool concept. Now, on the other hand, and the basic of the story was, I think, is this. The Rangers and the villains, they're trying to use the idea to make how awesome this movie was all about. But I have no problem with this, about this film. I think it's almost like action adventure is basically the one using the idea to make it the actors are interesting at this, very fine at these actors. Now the stories, and did I tell you that? Well, or how about the special effects where they didn't not use any CG, sadly, but they're gonna use the model makers? That would be awesome. It reminds me of the TV shows, for example, that in the live action film. That would be awesome. I want to see that. But in the Mighty Morphin, the movie, it's just a CGI. There's some model makers on it in the miniature city. But here in Turbo, the movie, now there's a lot of miniatures of what's going on here. Now the turbo swords and the vehicles was awesome. The vehicles on there, they're amazing awesome at these vehicles. Now then, wait for until it grows itself and combine it in a turbo megazord. That was the real one. They use some kind of the toys figures they want to use in the idea of combine it, and at the end of the film, so now it's almost clearly the combine it. It reminds me from the Super Sentai series and the Power Rangers seasons. They use it. It reminds me of the same question. Now, the special effects are deeply, it's not quite as a CG, but I thought it was that for, but it's some kind of using some kind of the model makers or something like that. They're going to use the idea. And now that the man in the suit, the Megazord and the giant monster was attack them on the island, and then the island was the Timotok's Palace or something like that. I think so what's going on here. The Menace's Triangle is his name, that in name a place. So that was a huge awesome on this. It's like almost an adventure. It's kind of like, wow, it's trying to tell something. It's unique about this. It reminds me of the whole these action adventures films. When you go there, it goes into it's pure fun as an action. And now basically is this movie is huge awesome, the ones that I saw that at this film. Now the story, well, let's get started with the story now. It's about an alien, you know what I mentioned before, Lyrical. It was trying to escape into the other planet, goes to the planet Earth. Alpha 5 is sonar, but why isn't Lyrical here? And it tell the Rangers in the same in the power chamber. Well, if I send a command center, it's the same question. And now the command center, that's the same as background, reminds me of the Mighty Morphin movie. But now in the power chamber, it changes, like the ones that was after the Power Rangers Zeo, and now the Turbo, on the other hand, is a different one. Now Zonan is the same one, but Alpha 5 is not the same design. But this is a different one design, but it's not. But it's some kind of Alpha 6. The characters was the same, but it's a different one that changes. But where's an Alpha 5? The original design on Alpha 5 looks kind of reminds me of it. I like this one is similar. But Alpha 6's design is very clear, if I said, and this part is the same in the movie. But now there's the same voice as Alpha 5, it's there, but the different design on Alpha, it's not the same. But the Sonine was there and the same, but Power Chamber is the same, not the same, is different when it's there. Maybe that's a Turbo movie version, and it was after that, to continue the season, Power Rangers Turbo, it's there. And then maybe it changes, who knows. And now on the other hand, Tiva talks spaceship, some kind of a giant fish or whatever, some kind of the secret base or whatever, some kind of the submarine that flight around like a fly saucer basically. And now Tiva talks and with the rest of the villains the rest of them is going after the Nemesis Triangle. So basically it's just to try and use the Lyrical's magic wand to activate to release Malagor. Malagor is a deep villain. Is awesome. Which one is that? But it's too powerful, and you gotta use a Megazord. It's the only way. Turbo Megazord is trying to stop him. And I think it was alright, but I'm still not a Mighty Morphin. But the Turbo, it was alright. And I think it's a special effects was almost a groundbreaking in this film. Is this was the sequel, or it's not as a sequel? Who knows? Maybe it's a continuous of the season, for example. And you have the live action version of this version. What is this all about? Was after Power Rangers Zeo, and now you have a Turbo, but before the new season coming out. But this isn't the movie. Was this going to talk about? And I think is pure as awesome. Oh, I forgot to mention that before. You haven't some their cameo was on in this movie. For example, Austin St. John and Amy Jo Johnson was there. Known as Jason Lee Scott and Kimberly Hart. There's been a kidnapped by Tiva Talks. They want to use the idea that wants to surrender a Larigo. Sadly, it was they want to capture basically, and now it's a trap. Now the Rangers is trying to rescue him. Of course, basically it's a lot of fun. But this movie's on a lot of it. Maybe there comes some cut scenes or some shut them down or something like that. If it's going further, faster story. I'm trying to figure it out where's in the delayed scenes or not. But it's kind of like this. I wish on a Blu-ray, and the Blu-ray movies will be come out, like Mighty Morphin, the movie, and Turbo, a Power Rangers movie, of course. And I wish to have a lot of them bonus features or anything that it should be in a deleted scene. So which part is that exactly? I wish to find out on that. Maybe they come somewhat down because I looked in that scene was deep that Lyrical has been surrendered because Diva Talks has Lyrical's wife and then the baby. Well, that's sadly because they trying to surrender because Divatox wants Lyrical's powers to the Malagor. Well, it says, oh man, this is something. And let's not forget, Jason Lee Scott and Kimberly Hart was kidnapped. But there isn't the crossover than that, but the Rangers, they're trying to rescue them both. Until then, they find the Nemesis Triangle. And recently, Bogus Skull was kidnapped there too. So it's kind of like, oh, wow, that was deepest funny Bogus Skull. But let's not forget Lieutenant Stone, the officer cop. I don't know what that means. So, but Lieutenant Stone, he's a funny guy also, but he's a cop. Let's get a move on. But Bogus Skull was the funniest part of the Bogus Skull. But it was after when he done in the Mighty Morphin, Zeo, and Turbo, but it's done. Goes further in the movie. Now it's been captured by Tiva Talks before Jason and Kimberly, so it's basically. Now the Rangers trying to find a Lyrical in Africa. So it's basically after that. Now Zonan and they're gonna give a new power so combine and notice the Turbo Rangers. Now, did I mention in that? Of course not. You're gonna use and give it a new powers. But Johnson is on the board, but Rocky didn't make it. It's because they're gonna go to some kind of a pirate ship or whatever, and they're gonna find the Divatox and the rest of them in the hole there. You got me there, and the Rangers trying to find their old friends and Lyrical and with his family, and they're trying to stop the Divatox and Americor. And I think this movie is pretty awesome to me, but I don't mind it. It's kind of like maybe it's a little faster story, but it kind of reminds me on it. I watched the whole thing. So, and then the other part of it, there's a tournament fighter, the karate tournament, what's going on here. But thankfully, Rocky was covered. And of course, who's going to replace Rocky in the tournament fighter? Well, Jason Lee Scott was on it. And that now it's going to never give up. And until then, Angel Grove wins. So now it's basically, I think, it's a happy ending. Who knows? And on and on. Now, the Power Rangers theme song was Turbo Power Rangers theme song. I like this song. It's basically, it starts in the beginning when the Turbo Megazord combine in the sword. So now, and the rest of them, I like the one that call it Invincible. I like this song. And the rest of them, they're okay. And I like in the film that the song on there, and I like the soundtrack was Shift into the Turbo. I like this song. I wish I'd have a soundtrack if I had one or not, but it's very hard to find, and I was 15 years old. I never had one. What I do have is in my own personal MP3s, but I'm not going to confirm it here. It's my personal track, and it's just my personal music. So I like this song, but I don't have it in a soundtrack. The real ones I have, basically. Now, my final thoughts on this film. I think this film it's a continuous story. Now, it's the same as plot in openings, and reminds me that the same as Time of Scroll, it reminds me of the Star Wars once again, like a Mighty Morphin the movie, and now you have a Turbo movie, and the plot is very different. It's a continuous story between that. It's about a Lyrical is in danger, was captured by Divatox, and the Rangers and didn't know that what's going on, and Alpha 5 is so on, they know about it, what's going on, and until was trying to help Lyrical to rescue it, and the Lyrical is trying to surrender it because he has no choice. So the Divatox is trying to capture it with his family, Lyrical's wife, and then the baby. So that sadly, never give up until the Rangers trying to use it and give a new the turbo powers, and of course the vehicles. There were extraordinary cards. The vehicles are awesome. I want to see it in the film. How awesome is that? But if there's no CGI, it's just using the model makers a little bit and a little bit special effects, and of course the Turbo Megazord was awesome. That was the model makers in the mountains and all that. I think it's this behind the scenes of those awesome. The ones that I did, I really like this film. So it's very close to one that. Now the the Marigore, whoa. I'm gonna give you what happens in this character, Marigore. Marigore it's the same as character it reminds me, for example. The same as character was after Turbo Megazord was destroying. Marigore was destroyed by Turbo Megazord. And guess what was gonna happen? In season in space, theirs is the same as character. But it changes in the name, called it Dark Spectre, was after the Zolan was captured. But this character is the same as Marigore, but Dark Spectre, I didn't expect that to see that how, maybe it's a reborn, who knows? Marigore or Dark Spectre, I didn't expect that to see, or maybe it's a reborn, who knows? Maybe it's maybe it's some kind of I don't know, maybe it's reborn, who knows, but I don't mind it. But it changes the names, Marigore or Dark Spectre. I didn't see that until that coming. Maybe it changes, who knows? It's the same as character. Now the rest of them that I told you, it was amazing film I ever seen. So let's give it a try for that. Now for my final rating of the Turbo Power Rangers the movie, well, I would say I want to give 10 out of 9.5. Well, it was very good. It's almost close like a Mighty Morphin, 10 out of 10. And now Turbo Power Rangers the movie, I would say 10 out of 9.5. Very close. Very close. It was very good at detailed storylines. It was very good. It was same thing like in the entire seasons of the Power Rangers season. So you got the Turbo. Then you have the continuously Turbo movie, and now after on the movie. And yeah, that's so that's to that of the Turbo movie, guys. So this is Turbo Rangers, and what you call them when I'm talking about, you know what I mean? And yeah, there's so this to that, guys. So but I don't have the soundtrack of the same exactly on the movie. I don't have a soundtrack, guys. So at least I try to figure it out. Not the ones that I got on the Mighty Morphin, the movie soundtrack at least, but I don't have the other ones, the soundtrack or whatever. But the ones that I have in this and that or whatever, I'll review it someday. So when I take a time with it and the others and not. So that's my movie review of Turbo, A Power Rangers, the movie. So this is Tybone Skyberg, known as Tybone82, and don't forget to click subscribe, and don't forget click like in the comments below. What do you guys think about this? And this is Tybone Skyberg, known as Tybone82. So and it also make the power protect you guys, and I'll see you around, guys.